If you've looked into Linux even a little bit recently, you've definitely come across one name. This is Linux Mint. For many of us, it's exactly the operating system that just worked right out of the box after switching from Windows. No complicated terminal commands, no long guessing games, just a system that feels familiar and does exactly what it's supposed to do. But we are now in the year 2026. Decades-old display technologies are finally being laid to rest. New fast arch distributions promise incredible leaps in performance, and competitors like Pop! OS are attacking with completely rewritten desktops. Right in the middle of this stormy phase, the team behind Linux Mint has made some of the most far-reaching decisions in its 18 years history. In this video, we will take a very close look at exactly what is happening at Linux Mint right now. We'll clarify why the old release cycle was completely thrown overboard and why the next major update won't arrive until Christmas this year. We'll also look at how Linux Mint is solving the problem with the brand new hardware, why the switch to the modern display server Wayland, which we mentioned here and there on the channel, is taking so incredibly long, and how Mint holds up against the current competition, which notoriously never sleeps. Let's dive in. My name is Jean from Linux.org. We are starting off with the major changes Linux Mint recently announced. To understand why so much is changing at Linux Mint right now, especially regarding their release cycle strategy, we need to briefly look at how the project has operated so far. Linux Mint is largely based on Ubuntu. Every 2 years, Ubuntu releases a so-called LTS version. The last Ubuntu LTS version actually just came out again in April. I also did a video about this. I put you the link into the video description. And generally, this LTS, which Ubuntu publishes every 2 years, stands for long-term support, meaning a version that receives updates for a particular long time. For Ubuntu, that's 5 to 10 years if you have Ubuntu Pro, which is pretty substantial, to be honest. The Mint team previously always hitched a ride on that and worked on a very strict semi-annual rhythm. So every 6 months we basically got a new point release for Linux Mint. In 2024 we got Linux Mint 22. Half year later we got 22.1, then another half year later we got 22.2, and last Christmas gave us 22.3, which is the current version. So on paper, getting fresh updates and new features every 6 months sounds absolutely great to us. Security updates arrive anyway, but behind the scenes, the reality looked quite different. The Mint team is actually relatively small. Project leader Clem has found some very honest words recently. He explained that this constant cycle of releasing new versions eats up an extreme amount of time. And honestly, I believe him. Imagine having to test an entire operating system, prepare servers, check the installer, fix bugs at the last second, and repeat this every 6 months. So the team was practically stuck in an endless hamster wheel of testing, releasing, and so on. For large, deep architectural changes to the system, there simply wasn't any time. They were more busy with releases than bringing in truly cool new features. So some cool new features have been added in the recent years, but I'd say over the last 4 to 5 years, new features per version have declined, which I personally find very unfortunate. That's why the team has now pulled the ripcord. Linux Mint is saying goodbye to this strict 6-month cycle. The new major version, Linux Mint 23, will not be released in the summer as normally expected, but actually at Christmas in December 2026. So thankfully, we still get it this year, but this is actually the longest gap between 2 versions that Mint has ever had. So currently we are in an intermediate phase. The team is testing a version with the codename Alpha, giving us a look into the engine room. They are currently testing a completely new installation program, which is, I think, very good. It looks much modern and finally sends the old dusty program into retirement. So what are the benefits for the developers? It's a gigantic liberation, I would say. They think finally take the engine completely apart and reassemble it without having to trigger the next release cycle within 2 or 3 months. The motto is now quality over speed. I'd say quality was never a huge problem for Linux Mint. Having relatively few bugs is a big selling point for them, I would say. But now there's finally time to solve more complex architectural problems. The Linux Mint installer is very old. Ubuntu moved away from their old installer a few years ago, as did many other systems. So Mint was one of the last major distributions still relying on the old Ubiquity installer. And this is now being replaced. So what does this mean for us? The downsides are that it takes a bit longer. The base of Mint 22 will get a bit older. New program versions of software you might use daily won't land immediately in the official repositories. Some in the community even fear that impatient users might migrate, but the long wait also brings a very practical problem. If you buy a brand new laptop now, you're looking at an older OS version. This is where the Linux kernel comes into play. The kernel is the heart of the operating system, so it talks to your graphics card, your Wi-Fi module, your touchpad, and so on. The current Linux Mint 22.3 uses a kernel from January. It's the 6.14, I guess. And for computers from 2024 and 2025, that works perfectly. But if you buy a new laptop in August, this old kernel from the beginning of the year might not perfectly support your new hardware. To solve this, the team is offering the so-called HWE ISOs. HWE stands for Hardware Enablement, so it's exactly the same stable Linux Mint, but with a swapped out newer Linux kernel. So the team will now keep this version regularly updated. If your older computer runs fine on Mint, you don't need to worry about this. But if you want to install Linux Mint on a brand new machine, you will need this HWE version. Right now they kind of hide this because of a small text on the site. I'm not a big fan of it being hidden, to be honest. In our Linux support, we constantly have people who have issues installing on newer computers, and we have to point them to the HWE ISO. So the current HWE ISO just got the kernel 6.17 as we see it here. So if you have a new computer, definitely keep the HWE ISO in mind, but very important, don't download the HWE ISO just for fun. If your normal Mint 22.3 works, just stick with it, because proprietary drivers may have limited support with those newer kernels. So only use the HWE ISO if your regular ISO does not work on your computer. Let's move on to another point, and arguably the biggest construction site for Linux Mint over the last few years. It's the topic I criticized the most last year, and I still have a stomach ache about it. The Linux world in 2026 has mostly moved to Wayland. Wayland is the more modern display technology that manages windows on your screen. Ubuntu has been using Wayland as its standard for years right now, but Linux Mint, however, doesn't even have a truly stable version for Wayland currently. And I've said it before, if Linux Mint doesn't get a proper Wayland version in 2026, I'm really worried. Simply explained, if you don't know what Wayland is, almost all Linux desktops ran on a technology called X11 for decades. X11 stems from the 1980s. It's ancient, almost 50 years old. If a program wants to display an image on the monitor, it sends it through dozens of detours, and worse, under X11, programs blindly trust each other. And any program could theoretically read what another program is displaying or typing, which is a nightmare for things like online banking if you have an untrusted program on your computer. Wayland is the modern alternative. Fast, direct, fluid, and extremely secure because programs are isolated from each other. So Mint is lagging extremely behind here. In the current version, Wayland is still marked as experimental, and if I log out right now, we can choose our session where we want to start our Linux Mint from. Do we want to start the Cinnamon, the default, or do we want to run the Cinnamon on Wayland? But this is still experimental as we see it here. And I can just log in myself. And it's generally experimental in the literal sense. The screen resolution here doesn't get my right screen. And there's no proper lock screen. When I just try to log out myself here, this lock screen, it just does nothing. And the window management is also sometimes buggy. So in short, it isn't usable for productive work. So I go back again. Mint started implementing Wayland into their Cinnamon desktop relatively late. Cinnamon is deeply intertwined with X11, so they have to reprogram a massive amount of code. So for example, under Wayland, system timers overlapped so much when closing a laptop that users saw their unlocked desktop for a fraction for a second before the lock screen kicked in the current test versions. So the plan is clear. They say Wayland should become standard by Christmas 2026 with Mint 23, but also X11 will remain as a fallback option. Considering Ubuntu doesn't even support X11 anymore in its standard version, Mint is hanging almost 5 years behind. I really hope they get this polished by Christmas and they won't take another 5 years. So definitely room for improvement here. If we look back at the last 3 years of Linux Mint, they definitely have their right to exist, and I'm still a huge fan. As we see, they also missed a few chances. I really loved how Linux Mint stood up against Ubuntu, for example. Ubuntu forced its own snap package format into the market, which can make computers slower, especially in the beginning. Now it's technologically fine, I would say. But the bigger flaw of Snap is that it isn't truly open. And Mint said, no, we are not doing that. They blocked snaps out of the box, compiled Firefox from code themselves, and rely on the open Flatpak format. This brought them a lot of sympathy in the community. They also saved classic programs from going extinct with their X apps suite. So for example, the text editor Xat is a great one, I would say. Also, for example, Pix, the image management program, is a great one. They took existing code, rebuilt it, and unified it into a really strong application suite. They really did great at this. But the modern tech fell by at the wayside. So even today with Linux Mint 22.3, we still have problems with HDR monitors or multi-monitor setups with different pixel densities. It's an artifact of X11, but it's still a shame that it isn't really working for Linux Mint nowadays. But also they did add some cool things like the fingerprint sensor support in the last versions, or integrating the grub bootloader directly into the system configuration. You can just turn off or turn on the grub menu. They also completely rebuilt the system information tool to better display kind of everything. Also to display your USB interfaces and connected hardware and so on. So this is really great. In every version there's always a function or two that I really like. But is that enough? Today, Mint basically has two major competitors for beginners. One is Ubuntu Desktop. It's the industry standard, but the interface often feels foreign to switchers, and the forced snap packages annoy many users, to be honest. And the other one is Pop! OS. Pop! OS is extremely modern, and they released their new own desktop called Cosmic this year, but still this Cosmic is in an early adaptation phase, to be honest. It's especially for gamers and Nvidia users, but if something breaks on Pop! OS right now, a beginner is often left pretty helpless. So it's great for some of the users, but there are still some flaws. And I would say Linux Mint sits right in the golden middle. It looks and feels a lot like Windows, which makes it familiar and avoids the snap baggage of Ubuntu. They try to pick the best of both worlds. The danger is just that Mint needs to be careful not to be labeled as boring or outdated. And honestly, it doesn't exactly blow anyone away visually when you compare it to Ubuntu 26.4, for example. It is not bad as we see it here, so they definitely improved it a lot in the last years, but they are always a bit behind, I would say. And there are also complete different alternatives causing a stir right now. The community is incredibly enthusiastic, for example, about CachyOS. It's an Arch-based system that delivers the absolute latest updates every single day. It's extremely fast and highly optimized for modern processors. Some programs start up to 30% faster, but CachyOS doesn't hold your hand like Linux Mint does. So if an update breaks the system, which happened to me around Christmas, you have to find the error yourself in the terminal. For tech enthusiasts like me who live in the Linux world, it's an absolute dream, I would say. My main rig runs on Arch Linux and EndeavourOS, so I love tinkering, but the technical hurdle is high, to be honest. So for someone who just wants to turn on their PC in the evening to play a game for an hour or to watch Netflix, an Arch-based system can be a nightmare because it changes and updates constantly in the background. That's where Linux Mint shines. It's the absolute lowest maintenance system out there and has great functionality. If someone asks me today, I'm coming from Windows, what should I install? My answer is still clearly Linux Mint. It's, in my opinion, the most polished and reliable Linux we currently have. Technically, what Pop! OS is doing with Cosmic or what CashOS is doing with kernel optimizations, this is fascinating, of course, but at the end of the day, I just want to turn on my computer and to work. So Mint is still the best for that. It's wonderfully predictable and incredibly reliable. It won't throw massive error messages at you, and you have a software store with over 60,000 apps installed with a simple click. So my takeaway for you is, if you are currently stuck on Windows 10 or annoyed by Windows 11, Mint is still your safest stepping stone. You don't need any complicated terminal commands. Plug in the USB stick, install it, and you quickly feel right at home. The delay for version 23 is, I would say, a necessary evil, and I would also have made the same choice in their position. In the end, have you tried Linux Mint, or did you switch to Pop! OS or CashOS or another Linux distribution? Write your experiences in the comments. I read through all of them. If this detailed video helped you, please leave a like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, because here on Linuxort we are releasing new stuff about Linux and open source every single week. And definitely don't miss our big review of Linux Mint 23 coming at Christmas. I hope Linux Mint keeps its promise and has a presentable Wayland version ready by then, so I can continue recommending them with a clear conscience. So until then, take care and see you in the next video. Bye!